All right.
All right.
According to off-air Keegan, Pochettino is on his way to the Mzansi League, Super League. Well, what of the teams do you reckon he could help the most at this point?
Fucking Durban Heat, because they just need to get onto the field at some point.
Well, is he going to be able to stop the rain?
Never know.
Luckily, they're playing in Pretoria tonight.
Yeah.
I don't know. But wasn't there storms in Gauteng as well?
But there's storms everywhere in the country but in Cape Town. We just got the wind.
Yeah.
We don't get the rain or anything.
So maybe that'll also get rain out. I checked the logs here. They're sitting fifth and they only played one game. 2 has been rained out. Bit of a surprise at the bottom, Josie Stars.
Yeah, last year's champs.
Last year's champs got beaten twice by the Blitz.
And they've got that new coach. Obviously because Nokwe is Enoch's part of the Proteas setup. So really
Obviously
not a
not
good...
really working out for them, that one. I watched that game at Newlands. It was a quite a lekker game last week, Thursday. Decent performance. Obviously not the best turnout, as most of these games haven't really had.
Yeah. It's been a bit of a surprise. I mean, last year, certainly thought the crowds were bigger. Last year's.
Well, I saw an interesting thing on the week that they haven't. Last year they released the official crowd figures after every game, which they've stopped doing now. So people are obviously saying that now it's, I don't know, but embarrassing for them. The biggest crowd was Paul on the weekend.
That was Paul.
And there was only 5,000 people.
That was Paul the whole of last year as well. So
yeah,
last time, but to be fair, Paul can only really take,
I think 6.5.
6.5. Yeah. So it's not that much anyway. But
yeah.
it's
a bit
nice
embarrassing
ground
for the other teams for that to be the biggest crowd.
Yeah, you see, nothing happens in Paul, so it's a nice day out. That's
enough.
the thing. And there's a nice vibe there. I mean, I went to 3 games there last year. And every single time I went, it's a jewel. It's like really an awesome vibe.
Yeah.
Like the whole town comes out. It's just a good fun day out. I mean, you've got
it's true what you say. They don't get a lot of, well, not just cricket, but they don't get a lot of other stuff.
Sports
there,
in general. I mean, like, Boland's not really in the Curry Cup, so I mean, you're not really getting Western Province and the Sharks and all of them coming to come play rugby there. And now they have this cool little competition being played there, and they get to see some stars.
And the cricket's been decent. Although I did say earlier how bad the fielding was last night. The Cape Town Blitz ended up basically throwing the game away with their batting a little bit, and then misfield after misfield when they were bowling, ended up losing. But the quality of the other games that I've watched has been good, so I don't really understand why people aren't rocking up. It's not that expensive.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. I think it's maybe also certain marquee players. Are they actually on the field? Are they actually playing? I mean, it's exciting for Paul because when you've got the Proteas captain, you've got Faf captaining the side. And Faf has made it very clear, even from the first Mzansi League, that when he's available, he wants to be on the field and play every game.
Yeah.
And, that gets a little bit
of
a
no one's
going
to come watch a marquee player sit on the bench.
Yeah.
So
it gets sort of everyone in the excited a little bit. And then you had a few guys. I think what helps as well, if I just look at a poll situation, is you've got a few players that are from the area. And Henry Davids, you got Fortain, they're all Paul boys.
Yeah, like community hero type vibes.
Yeah, and even though they're not playing for province, they're coming back to play for a franchise, and that gives a little bit of extra buzz and gees and get the family out to come and watch, and the cousins and everything else, and the community itself. So I'm surprised that teams like Nelson Mandela Bay aren't pulling in
drawing bigger crowds.
Because
Because they're in a similar. Okay, obviously, it's a bit bigger than Paul, but
St George's Park definitely gets more cricket
yeah.
than
But I mean,
Paul
the
does.
area of what I know of also doesn't. There's not a lot going on there.
Yeah, St George's.
It's not like Cape Town and Joburg where you have a pick of the litter of what you want to do on any given day, basically.
St George's Park is always good for an ODI game. It normally gets an ODI game, and the brass band is out. And
Well, the band was there last night, but I mean they were playing for like a couple of hundred people.
yeah, I really thought
So-
that there would be a good crowd out there.
And they're doing well. They're sitting top of the log after last night.
Yeah, I think they've been the team that's been the
Probably
least
a little bit
affected
surprising.
with weather. I think as well. I think they've actually played all their games. So, yeah, I think when
Actually, no. There was one no result.
one no result.
Yeah.
So they've had. I
Cape
think
Town and Joburg have played all their games.
we look at. I think when we did the preview, and that we looked at it. I mean, I think Justus, who helped us with the previews, basically, I think he pointed out that he thought Josie might go on and win it again because of they've done it before and the players that they have. But I think Nelson Mandela Bay were one of the other outside picks that he had to really do well. There's quite a bunch of all-rounders there. There's senior personnel. There's players that have played this format certain all over the world. So they could be, and good coaching staff that they have there. I think Eric is there and that's so.
Well, they're doing well because we're
Gary's the
basically
coach there.
halfway through the group stage, if you could call it that, and they're sitting pretty. I mean, they 2 points above Cape Town, but Cape Town's played one more game, so
Yeah,
very good shot, I would say, of making the playoffs.
Yeah, was it last year I adopted Paul as the team I was going to support because I feel it's close to home, down the drag for us.
Yeah.
And I think that if Paul's got 2 home games coming up now, so I'm pretty sure if they pick up a win or pick up a double win at home, they got
They
Josie
need
Stars.
to get some points. They're sitting 4th at the moment.
Yeah, they've won, I think, drawn, obviously the 1 no result and then a loss.
Yeah.
So I think if they pick up 2 wins at home, one is the Josie Stars they're playing against. They pick up a win there at home. I think they're in the running for a playoff spot. Certainly in a playoff
They
spot.
should fancy that because they beat Cape Town Blitz quite comfortably at home.
Yeah.
And Blitz have been playing.
They've been clever
quite
this year.
well.
I actually watched that game. I watched that game on television and they've been quite clever this year with how they've bought players and they've picked a side to target the home games. They've got a squad that targets at home games.
Well, they know it's going to be always difficult because there's always going to be the vibe.
Yeah.
So if you can make sure you play well at home with that vibe, then you got a
They've
good
got the
thing
right
going.
personnel. They've got 2 spinners. They have all-rounders, guys that can bat and bowl. And, you've got Shamsi and Fortain that are spinning. You've got Udano, which is the Sri Lankan all-rounder he's like a medium-pace skiddy bowler, but he can bat as well. You've got that Adams from Boerland playing there. And then you've got obviously bits and pieces all over the place. I mean, you've got Faf batting. In the batting department, you've got Faf and Davids and Cameron Delport, all those guys. So it's like a bit of a mix and match. But it's, I think at home, they could, if they pick up wins in their home, I think them, Nelson Mandela Bay, Cape Town Blitz they've played a lot of their games already. So
Yeah, they're the only team that's played 5.
they've got to hope that pack that's chasing them are going to drop points.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they might not catch up. Now, I think it all depends on also how many bloody games we're going to get in Durban. We haven't had one in Durban yet. So if you're basically playing in Durban, you're almost, at this point in time, you're not going to play it.
Well, that could also help. Maybe helps some teams.
Yeah.
Get a free point or 2.
I think we also always expect a lot from Tshwane. I mean, I think they've been like a little disappointing.
Well, they've also actually, I saw now, they've also missed 2 games as well.
Yeah,
So between them and Durban Heat, hopefully they're playing tonight.
yeah.
Sure. Otherwise it gets tricky because you're dropping points for Jam the whole time.
You're basically only finding 3 teams that are playing regularly, and the rest are unfortunately getting stuffed over by
By the
weather situation.
So where do you think we're going with this tournament? I've seen a lot of people on Twitter like sort of wondering if Cricket South Africa is going to continue with it, if it goes the way that it's going. I don't know, probably not making the money that they thought they would. Do you think they'll stick with it for a while?
It's tough. I mean, for me, there was a lot of promise after the first year. Like, I actually felt good after the first year and saying,
that's what I thought, because
for a slap together competition.
Yeah, they obviously fucked up the launch of it because they launched it like 5 times.
Yeah, and then you had the owners, the original owners, pulling out and taking legal action against
I
that.
actually forgot about all of that.
You know, it was supposed to be a proper IPL situation, and then after all that stuff up, they still managed to get the tournament off the ground. Remember, they had no media coverage at that time, and then all of a sudden, last minute, they struck a deal with the SABC to get the games.
I must say, SABC upped their game big time.
Yeah.
Because especially the first couple of games last year was a bit horrible to watch.
Yeah, the first game was a complete bit of a dog show, and I think they really got better after that. And then, as the tournament carried on, you were like, you know, from such a difficult start and an unsure start,
the way it ended quite nicely.
Yeah, the way it ended, you were like, hey, you know what? Rocky first edition, but you can definitely build on that. And the one thing I did like about the start of this year is a lot of marquee signings stayed with franchises. So that was sort of the gist. So you could almost start building a supporters base.
Yeah.
The problem
That's the biggest problem I've had with these types of tournaments is now you sort of pick a side and then next year it's a completely different team.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, you know, what do? You stick with them or do you just jump around every year?
Do you follow your favorite players?
Who you think is going to be better this year or whatever. So that's the only one thing I don't like about these tournaments.
Yeah, I'm the same.
But I must say they've done well to keep the teams.
I think they did really well.
Solid.
I think the only thing where they've let themselves down is I don't think these teams have done enough to market themselves. I don't think they have. I mean, as much as it's got a name to it, it's like Paul Rocks or Cape Town Blitz or whatever. Like, I haven't seen any one of those teams spend some time here in the Durbanville, Bellville area. Like, who's anyone in this area supposed to support? Like, who's actually fighting for the support, the cricket support here?
All
like
the people stuck in the middle between them.
Yeah, it's Cape Town because they home of the Cobras and that. Are they just expecting that they're going to get the main support? If I was Paul, I'm not just staying in Paul and in Stellenbosch. I'm saying, Durbanville, these areas, you're closer to us. Let's try get those cricket fans to come support us. I don't know how it is in Joburg, but it's pretty clearer. Like Tshwane and Josie, like
there's a bit more of a
clearer divide, and who you probably going to go and support.
Where we are now is basically in the middle between Paul and Cape Town.
100%.
And if you're looking at it logistically, it's probably easier to go to Paul.
Way
because
easier.
Obviously, it's not as congested.
Down the N1, if it's an open N1, it's 20 minutes.
Yeah.
You're there.
So we got stuck in traffic last week, and I mean, there wasn't even a lot of people, but you got that, obviously, after work traffic.
100%.
So it is better.
I think the tournament itself has tried to promote itself as much as it can, being on SABC, which isn't ideal in a way when it goes to... It's ideal for numbers-wise because it should be drawing numbers because there's a bigger sort of demographic
audience,
that you can pull to. But I don't think it's helped them branding-wise because for me, SABC's like marketing of this competition has been pathetic, really,
Yeah.
because you don't know it's even going on. I mean, we get questions every day on our Twitter and even on Instagram, and like
where they're playing,
where
what
they're
time.
playing, what time,
Yeah.
you know, is this even on TV? Like things like that. So it shows you, it's weird, like when you have something on Supersport, even though it's a privileged group that has
Access.
multi-choice,
Yeah.
you always know where they play, where these teams are playing, that the tournament's actually happening, and you know it's in your face the whole time.
I suppose it's the same with all the Bafana games as well.
It's the same thing.
So
So
as soon as it goes to SABC, then there's always questions about,
is it being?
are they even
televised?
going to show it? You know, what's going to go on?
I think like SA Cricket has to try and figure out a way what they're going to do on that front. Like, and I also do feel that these teams need to start taking a bit more ownership in trying to sell themselves. Because I really don't feel that any of these franchises have really
Done
really
a lot
done
of effort to build fan bases.
to build fan bases. It's the same argument I have with, I mean, we've had this argument many times with football
The PSL
and
clubs.
PSL
yeah.
clubs. Like, you can blame the PSL all you want, or you can blame the South African fan for not coming out to watch as much as you want, but you also, as a club, have got to make an effort to try and get those fans to come and support you, first of all.
Yeah.
And I think, like, Paul's lucky in a way.
One thing I noticed that I found odd was, I'm not sure if it's all the teams, but some of the teams have their names, the player names at the bottom. And I spoke with my old man last night, and I said that's so stupid, because a lot of these players are people that a lot of fans don't necessarily know,
Yeah.
because a lot of cricket fans don't necessarily watch local cricket and whatever. And with the names there, you can't read the names.
Should have been higher up.
So I'm going to put it where the names usually are, above the number. And then small things like that makes a difference.
It does.
Because now I see a guy playing, and making good catches or whatever. Don't know who he is. It's weird.
Yeah, I think, listen, I don't know how long this thing has been, been contracted for, like how many set seasons we're going to get from it. But I think there's going to be a lot of head scratching and that after this year, if crowds don't
If it doesn't
improve, and I think I don't think it's just a crowd thing. I think it's just the standard of cricket needs to improve. And I also think maybe, I know it's not easy getting marquee players, and I know you're fighting against other leagues in the world, and the South African rand is a big problem when it comes to that. But there's got to be something done, and maybe it's just a marketing thing that needs to there needs to be more marketing being thrown behind it. I don't know if that would be the answer, but it could be a good starting point. If you don't have money to go and throw and find
At players
and this and that, so it's going to be interesting to see if they do.
Well, almost halfway through. Quick predictions for top 4.
I haven't really watched the Heat play, so I'm not going to put them in it. Let's say Nelson Mandela Bay. Let's say both Cape Town sides. So let's say Blitz and Paul. I say Blitz maybe holds on to
Second
top 4.
spot. Oh, well,
Probably
top
not.
4.
I don't think they'll hold on to second spot because they've played 2 more games in most of the others. And let's throw Tshwane in there because there is quality there that...
That's what I would also go for. Durban, unfortunate, probably because there's a good chance they might miss more games. And then Josie is just...
I think they've lost too many.
They've lost all 4.
Yeah.
Which doesn't really make me sad, but...
No.
I'll deal
But
with it.
hopefully they've learned also from last year, because last year we were supposed to have an All-Cape semi-final and the game was rained out and Cape Town went to the final on the fact that
They
Blitz
ended higher on the log.
Blitz ended higher, or on the head-to-head.
They actually ended top.
And the fact that also, I think it had to do with the head-to-head that then net run rate against each other over 2 games is slightly better. So if it's something along those lines. So hopefully they've learned for something like that as well, that if a semi-final gets rained out, there's a spare day to play the game. Because I don't think like little rules like that are going to help this competition at all.
No, that is a bit bullshit, yeah. Yeah, all right, well, I think we'll definitely go to another couple of games. I'm keen to go for a match at Paul.
Yeah, I'm definitely in for that.
We hope that the other people do the same, and then we'll probably have another chat once the group stages wrapped up.
I think Paul will be a nice crowd as usual, so I think they're playing...
They're playing this
weekend. I think Sunday they're playing there.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure it's that Sunday kickoff or start is normally nice and early, so it's a Sunday fun day for most people.
Yeah. And after last week, I'm sure they'll be quite full.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
Sweet.
Catch up then.
Yeah.